This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer LaGrassa. Katerina is away. Anger is mounting over the plans to shut down the Crown Royal bottling plant in Amherstburg, the town's biggest employer. It's led to calls to boycott the whiskey, but the anger doesn't end in Amherstburg. As Dalson Chen reports, it extends all the way up to the Premier's office.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do. And I think everyone else should do the same thing.
Doug Ford left no doubt about his feelings toward Crown Royal parent company Diageo. Ontario's premier was reacting to the multinational corporation's decision to permanently shut down its long-running Crown Royal bottling plant in Amherstburg next February. The closure will put more than 200 unionized employees out of work. Ford said he spoke with Diageo leadership and was told the decision will not change.
LCBO is the largest customer in North America. More than California, more than Texas, more than all of them. Who targets their largest customer? Like, I think they're a few fries short of a Happy Meal, these people. They're hurting Ontario residents. They're hurting the people that work at Crown Royal. So you know something, a message to the CEO in France, you hurt my people, I'm going to hurt you.
Ford did not say if Crown Royal whiskey will be taken off LCBO shelves, but the Premier's call for a Canada-wide boycott is exactly what Unifor Local 200 President John Dagnolo was hoping for. Earlier on Tuesday, Local 200 held a meeting in Windsor to answer questions and hear feedback from the plant's workers, but Dagnolo hasn't had any discussion with the company since last week's announcement.
Yeah, if we need boycott it, then we boycott it. That would impact the bottom line, and that's what companies are all about. It's the bottom line. So if you do that, maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe we can sit down with them immediately and go over how can we make this plant stay alive here in Amherstburg.
Howard Fox has been working at the Amherstburg bottling plant for 34 years. He blames corporate greed for threatening the livelihoods of working-class families.
That plant is very, very profitable, but they want more. You're putting a whole community and all these people out of work just for profits for a company, and that's a terrible thing to do.
Jocelyn Gerard started working at the Amherstburg plant only a year ago. The mother of four says her family will be heavily impacted if the site closes.
We just moved to Amherstburg for this job. Just switched my kids to a new school, which was a big change for them, and I don't want to put them through another big change again if I don't have to. We're signed into a one-year lease, so not knowing the future is pretty scary.
When Diageo was asked to comment on the calls for boycott, a spokesperson on behalf of the company emphasized that Crown Royal will continue to be mashed, distilled, and aged in Canada, and that Crown Royal for the Canadian market will still be bottled in Canada. Dalson Chen, CBC News, Windsor.
Well, it's back to school for thousands of students in Windsor, Essex, and young people aren't the only ones hitting the books. I dropped by a local high school for adults to find out what's bringing them back to the classroom.
Good morning, St. Michael's!
Happy first day.
Happy first day. We're back.
We're back.
All right.
Morning announcements kicked off a new school year at St. Michael's Adult High School in Windsor, where students 18 and older are coming to learn.
We're more excited that you're here, and we have so many new students.
It's never too late to start is a common theme here, where adults are back in class. Some are working towards a high school diploma, others are newcomers learning English.
We learn as much from them as they learn from us. They come from so many different countries, over 50, so many different stories.
These students shared their stories with me.
My last education was like third grade, and I shifted from third grade to adult high school. It's like big changing. I left Iraq when I was 10 years old to move to Turkey to be a refugee. To take a refuge there. And I stayed there for 10 years, and I didn't go to school because we had like some situation there. And now I finally, when I came to Canada last year, I found out that there's still a chance for me. It's called adult high school learning.
What is that like, getting another chance at being able to go back to school?
I would say second chance is really great because the things that happened in my life, they were not in something that I can control, but St. Michael's giving me like a second opportunity to prove myself.
Another student was a former speed roller skater for Iran's international team. She was also a coach. She came to Canada about 2 years ago and wants to be a nurse.
This year is my second year and I'm so excited because I love this school. I love all of the teachers.
What do you like about coming here and learning?
Everything for me is new. And I'm I'm a curious person. I love all of the subjects.
What advice do you have to people who are starting something new, who are doing something new for the first time?
Enjoy, because we have just one life, one chance, and you should grow every day, every hour, and every moment.
And another student who started school here in 2019 looks after her grandson and is learning English. Why are you learning English?
Because my first language is Italian, and I want to learn a second language, English. It's my final years. I hope so, if I pass. But yes, this is my final course, and after I go to the college because I want to take a vet technician. I love animal.
Colette Kennedy is here. Colette, what's it like out there?
Well, pretty good. It's just really been a nice day for students or students of any age, young or adult, increasing or, expanding their learning. I feel like if I could speak Italian as well as she already speaks English, I'd consider myself fluent. So really, really nice there to see that. All right, let's talk about these rain showers isolated, and they're well off to the east of us. So we've been in the beautiful sunshine through the day, and, quiet conditions tonight, 14 for the low. Tomorrow, even a little bit milder than today. So 28 degrees, sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness as the day wears on. It will become breezy in the afternoon. All of that ahead of a cold front that's going to eventually bring some rain. I'll give you the timing on that when I come back.
Thanks, Colette. A Windsor filmmaker is remembering Greene. The Indigenous Canadian actor died on Monday. Ted Bazare briefly worked with Greene on the Windsor-made film The Birder. He shares his memories of the man and his talent.
All right, this is our last shot. Screw up again, you're gone.
So after hearing about the passing of Greene, it was obviously sad news just in general, but extra sad because I was able to spend some time with him working on our film, The Birder. He had a small part in our film, so I was lucky enough to be able to work with him. He was with us for a couple days, so a short time, but that time he was on set with us was definitely memorable. I'd never really worked with actors of that caliber, right? So having this Oscar-nominated actor coming onto our set, I was definitely intimidated and nervous. But after meeting him, talking with him and kind of joking around, he kind of put me at ease, and he made my job real easy because he's a professional, but he's also very kind and giving. So it was really exciting to work with him, and again, kind of put my nerves at ease, which was really great.
I love you.
Really? In 10 years you were with my mom, you never once said that.
Yeah? Well, I do.
One thing that he wasn't really, well known for, but was great at, was comedy. And our film is a comedy.
Get to work.
His dry wit with his anger, with the comedy. It was like this wonderful mix, bringing this character of Manny to life and kind of showcasing this anger, but in a funny, really memorable way.
A group of Chinese international students are accusing Immigration Canada of discrimination and lack of transparency over their study permit applications. The graduate students have filed a case with federal court to force the agency to make a decision on the permits as fast as possible. CBC's Thomas Dagla has the details.
At UBC and other campuses across Canada, there will be Chinese graduate students missing from class. Dozens enrolled in science, tech, and math programs like Yisin Chang, left waiting 16 months so far for a Canadian study permit that would typically take 4 weeks, according to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada.
The biggest loss for me is the 1 year time. Like, how much would you pay for 1 year in your 20s? is priceless.
This immigration lawyer in Toronto is representing 25 Chinese students with similar stories.
This is the student that has been waiting the longest.
He's filing a case in federal court demanding immigration officials explain the holdup.
The decision-making process was not transparent because the students was not told why an extensive security check was required in their specific circumstances.
In court documents, the lawyer blames an extensive security check done by Canada Border Services Agency and CSIS. All of it, he says, may be related to a case in 2023 when the federal court barred a Chinese student from a Canadian engineering program, ruling he could be pressured by Beijing into spying.
I think they're being treated discriminately here.
I guess I'm not really surprised.
This former CSIS director says it stands to reason the intelligence service is giving a closer look to would-be graduate students from China.
It does seek to use its Chinese who are working abroad or studying abroad to the advantage of China.
No matter their intentions, Li Zhang and others are left in limbo.
Canada closed the door to the China.
Canada's Immigration Department acknowledges some students are experiencing longer wait times for processing, but a spokesperson insists all applicants are subject to the same screening, no matter what country they're from. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Students are back hitting the books, but for some, just reading a book remains a challenge. Over the last 25 years, Canada has seen declining literacy rates among youth, but some local experts are vouching for comic books to reverse the curve. CBC's Justin Escoto has the story.
Superman, Spider-Man, The Flash, The Incredible Hulk. You might think of these larger-than-life characters from their record-breaking blockbusters in the last few years, but their original form, the physical comic book, continues to marvel generations of readers. Sean Cousino is the owner of Rogues Gallery Comics in downtown Windsor. He says his connection to the craft is deeply rooted in his childhood, helping him get into reading.
I've been reading comic books since I could read. In fact, comic books are the reason I went to novels as a kid. And books they just felt heavy and daunting to me as a child.
Cousino says comics are an accessible form of literature for those who aren't keen on traditional books.
The art with the story together, unlike a novel, kind of quite literally paints the picture for you. But then comic books are much like TV used to be in the 80s and 90s. Every issue is a cliffhanger.
Countrywide, Canada has seen some alarming statistics surrounding childhood literacy. The Canadian Children's Literacy Foundation estimates between 500,000 and 1 million Canadian children from 0 to 15 years of age have weak literacy skills. Additionally, they report that average reading performance in Canada declined between 2000 and 2018. These youth with reading difficulties are more likely to show higher rates of unemployment, poor health, and other negative outcomes. A local libraries consultant says comics and graphic novels are an effective way to get kids reading.
When a person is trying to interpret a visual image, and especially if it's provocative, if it's beautiful, if it's complicated in some way, and it's juxtaposed to text on the page, I think it's engaging different parts of the brain at the same time, and that's always good.
Stu Isho began reading comics in college and says comics have a strong ability to connect with readers.
By having more like niche storylines, or because it's a small scale production, anyone can sort of express the voice in comic books, and it's easier for different readers to find someone who matches their voice, who can create stories that are more relatable.
Rogues Gallery Comics is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Cousino says it's proof of the timeless appeal comics still have.
You know, I thought after 20 years that I might be a little out of love with the medium. I love it more every day.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because comics are cool.
Justin Escoto, CBC News, Windsor.
A look outside there. There's no better way to bring in that sort of cooler weather than with a book or a comic book, as we just saw. Colette is going to be back to tell us more of what's in store for the days ahead as you're getting back to your routine, whether it's school, whether it's work. So stay with us. We got more on the way. welcome back. A landslide in western Sudan has destroyed an entire village, reportedly killing nearly everyone who lived there. The deadly tragedy happened after weeks of torrential rain in the Darfur region. Journalist Naba Mohadeen has more from the country's capital.
An entire village was wiped out by the recent landslide in Jabal Marra. More than 1,000 people got killed in Tersin village. It was totally destructed by the landslide. Only one survivor was recorded, according to Sudanese People's Liberation Movement, Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor leadership, and also the Sudanese government. This very painful incident took place on Sunday, but it was announced on Monday by SPLM Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor wing. This landslide is a threat to wider population. Many villages around this area in Jabal Marra are under threat of such landslides. This area particularly is living in very poor infrastructure. It's also a very vulnerable to erosions and landslides because of heavy rains, torrential rains, and also the geological formation of area, because it's formed out of volcanic rocks, and also the lack of dense vegetation is reducing soil cohesion and leads to more slides and leads to erosion in this area. Rescue efforts are still underway, but also there is some hopes that people can be evacuated from nearby villages, because humanitarian activities are many there. Efforts are needed from international community and also from the Sudanese government, which is now battling with the rapid support forces. 6 out of 8 localities in Jabal Marra are under control of the RSF, and this area particularly is under control of SPLM. So urgent intervention by international community and by the Sudanese government and RSF is needed to help thousands of people who are in need and living very vulnerable situation amid a very dire humanitarian crisis in Jabal Marra and in Darfur region generally. Naba Mohadeen for CBC News, Khartoum, Sudan.
Afghanistan has been shaken by a strong aftershock. It hit close to the epicenter of Sunday night's deadly earthquake. The Taliban government says of the number of dead has now topped 1,400, with more than 3,000 others injured. CBC's Anna Cunningham reports.
The rescue efforts have continued throughout the day, attempts being made to try to reach the most remote villages in Kunar province in this part of eastern Afghanistan. Homes that were destroyed in Sunday's earthquake, visible, often built out of mud and stones, really not made to withstand such powerful shaking. And the second quake was also a shallow one, and it's likely to make those rescue attempts now more treacherous. It's not known how many people might still be trapped in the rubble of their homes. The Taliban are using military helicopters to transport the injured to hospital in the city of Jalalabad. The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent societies now warning that the scale of need far exceeds current resources, with basics like food and clean drinking water needed. The Taliban government has appealed for international aid, but that is complicated. The US wants its biggest aid provider cut the majority of aid after US President Donald Trump took office in January. Prime Minister Mark Carney sharing this on social media, saying the aftermath of the earthquake in Afghanistan is horrific. Hundreds of lives lost, families displaced, and communities facing unimaginable hardship. As the Afghan people recover and rebuild, Canada stands ready to provide humanitarian support through our partners. And those words are key. Britain has said the same, as has the European Union, because Western nations are very aware that they do not want funds to reach Taliban hands. China and India have both offered their help, but this is now a real race against the clock to try to reach any survivors and the remaining injured. It's also a big challenge for the Taliban administration in one of the world's poorest countries that was already facing a severe economic crisis. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
We'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay with us. Welcome back. Colette Kennedy is going to bring us more weather now. Colette, everyone is posting that summer is already over. And yes, we know that school is back, but we still have weeks of summer, right? Tell me we have weeks of summer left.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess we have till the 22nd of September, right? Until the equinox. So yes, you're right. We have weeks. Now, I do judge it a little bit differently as a meteorologist because meteorological fall starts at the beginning of September, so I'm already a couple of days into that, but that has more to do with how we kind of collect our data and the way that the temperatures tend to fall, and it gives us a 3-month parcel, September, October, November. But anyway, you got till the 22nd, folks. It's still summer. 25 degrees, seeing 24 in the Sioux, 22 in Thunder Bay, and then look what happens after that. There's some cooler air that's just back to the northwest of us behind a cold front. So that cold front, once it comes through, which most of tomorrow is still going to be quite mild and very summer-like. But once that front comes through, we will get some rain showers and we will have those temperatures coming down a little bit. So instead of above seasonal, we'll go a little bit below seasonal. So other than our 25, 22 for Sarnia and 23 Chatham-Kent, how about London? Right there in the middle at 25 degrees. The winds have been fairly light and they will be tonight, but it's going to be a somewhat different story tomorrow. So as that front is approaching, those winds are going to get a little bit stronger, be picking up from the southwest. So becoming a little bit breezy through the day tomorrow. Only on our radar to deal with tonight, a few isolated showers, just some pop-ups there, well off towards the east, closer to the GTA than they are into southwestern Ontario. So those will be dying off. And then we're still with high pressure and sunshine for the first half of the day at least. But even for the second half, at least of the school days, say, things will be generally sunny with just increasing cloudiness. Now by evening, I've stopped this at 6 o'clock, we'll start to have some showers developing and then that line with the cold front goes through. So that's really tomorrow night, okay, not through the day. And it's gone by Thursday that we're getting back out into some pretty nice clearing on Thursday. So in terms of the amount of rainfall, likely through Windsor, we're talking only about 5 millimeters, perhaps 5 to 8 if there's a little embedded thunderstorm in there. But our temperatures overnight tonight down to a low of 14, 28 tomorrow with some humidity. So it is going to be very much like a summer day, but you can see that change that happens after that front goes through.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Colette, and thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night.
Good night.